Good morning, everyone. I'd like to share with you this morning my tips and tricks on how to manage GoPro videos. I just came back from an inline game with my kids, and I have a number of GoPro videos that I have to stitch together, and I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks on how I've efficiently created scripts for doing so using FFmpeg. So as you can see here on the screen, I have the SD card open. As GoPro records three different file types, a .lvr, which is low resolution video, which is an MP4, but very low. What I'm going to do is actually delete these because they're inconsequential to me. So I'll delete those 18 items. Yes, this just make things, and this thumbnail, this .thm, I've never found much use for it, so I'll just delete that from my SD card as well. Now I'm left with MP4 files. So today is April 27th. I have some other videos from the 21st that I'm just going to leave. So I'm going to copy and paste these into, I'll cut these into a videos folder that I've already set up. 2025 April 27th U13 inline. So it's currently an empty folder, and I'm just going to paste these into it. So this is going to take a few minutes. It's probably about 15 to 20 gigabytes, so I'll come back in a minute or two. Okay guys, welcome back. As you can see, I have my files all copied here under videos in line 4. I also, under videos, have a script file where I stick all my default scripts under. So I'm going to want this one, and I'm going to want 16 by 9, 2.7K. So I'm going to copy, paste, April 27th, my two folders in here. So this rename mp4 alphabetically .bat, we're going to use that. So let's go to CMD, bring up a command prompt. So let's change our scene a little bit to see it better. So I already have FFmpeg installed on this computer. You need it for this to work. I have another video on the installation of FFmpeg. It takes 2 to 3 minutes. It's no biggie. So I'm going to change directory to video and change directory to 2025 underscore April, what did I say? 27. Okay, so if I go dir directory, I see all these files. And you can see all the MP4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up my rename bat file. So rename alphabetically. And if I run that, let that go, and now I go directory again. What I've done is I've alphabetically renamed all my files based upon time taken. So they are all sequential, A to N, and I now want to combine them A to N. I'm going to take my default file, FFmpeg 16 by 9, and I'm going to modify it a bit. So I'm going to show you that right now. So I'm going to go Notepad, FFmpeg. I'm going to bring that up, And let's have a look at that brought up in a different screen here. Going to bring that up. And what do I have? I have this processing script, and it takes 16 by 9, 60 frames per second GoPro, and it's going to output 1080p at 30 frames per second. So this is a way to sort of reduce the storage requirements for all my videos, as I'm going to take it from 2.7K down to 1080p, and I'm going to go from 60 frames per second to 30 frames per second. So I'm going to resize it, the file, but keep the aspect ratio. I'm also going to overlay with a text banner at the beginning, so if I do lose the file description, I can go back and figure out when the video was taken and for what teams they were playing with. And then I like to do a transition between each of the clips that I'm going to merge together, just so that it feels more natural. So let's get into it. So I have these two variables, so I'm going to take these double colons out. So double colon for a batch file is for comments. This was 25th April 27, U13 inline yellow, high voltage versus blue. And I believe it was rolling donkeys, but we'll just leave it as blue. As for the file name, we're going to set it as April 27th, U13 yellow versus blue. If we go back to looking at the script, we can see A to N. So the last video is going to be N in our series. So if we come down here and we look at N, I just like to put a space there, and we're going to uncomment all these lines of code, which are just currently comments. So the last one, N, I'm going to have a fade transition, scale frames per second, and reprocess. And I'm going to get 14.mp4. Yellow, blue, just check that we're all good there. And I'm going to come down to segment 17. So this is going to concatenate, which fancy word for combine, all 14 files, and it is going to save it as the variable file name. And this is going to take some time to run, so we're going to hit save up here. Once it's saved, what I like to do, this is going to probably take 7 to 8 hours to run. It depends on how powerful your computer is, but here I get a timestamp just out of curiosity. I like to see how long it takes, so I'll do a timestamp when I jump into the file. It'll run each one of these lines of code independently. It's going to concatenate line 14 here, and then it's going to output a timestamp. So let's just make sure we save that, close. Now to run it, I'm going to go FFmpeg that file .bat, and I just hit. So it is 12:52, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, and it's going to run. It'll be finished around dinner time today. To give you guys an example, This is from April 22nd. A script, the same script file, just modified the name of the of some of the variables in there. I don't know how many files I might have, and if you look here, I started it at just after midnight, 12:13 in the morning, I guess. I was up late, and it finished. Let's go to the bottom. Let's go to the bottom. So 6:31. So this script file from a very similar inline hockey game that occurred April 22nd took six hours to process. So this is just running in the background. The one that we just did just now, as you can see, it's running, and you can come back and look at it. But your computer is fully usable during this time, and yeah, it's a couple tips and tricks I've learned over the years to combine hockey games, inline games, soccer games, just just a whole number of clips, video clips, and you want to make one complete video for uploading to the internet or just for storing for your own review later on. If you guys like this or got any value out of it, let me know. Subscribe, like, and leave some comments if you think there is a better way. I will make these script files available on my website, and I will provide a link to that. Thank you very much, and good afternoon.